Hi, good day everyone, and welcome back to Curious City. Today we are going to talk about Japanese food, which was recommended as a topic to us by a Japanese school. But today we have a special guest with us.
Hello everyone, I'm Hilary. Today I joined this video to interview Sam about Japanese food.
Yeah, okay, so let's get right into it.
First question, when you came to Japan for the first time, what did you think of Japanese food? Not only Japanese food in Japan.
Okay, so my first trip to Japan was in 2011. I went mostly into Tokyo, but also different parts of Japan. First thing I thought about Japanese food was that the price was kind of low, but the quality for that price was very high.
Like how much was it?
Like if you went to a sushi chain, which I went to with my friend in Tokyo, each sushi plate was like $1. And to me that's really cheap because in England and America and Australia, most sushi places start at like $2 or $3 per plate, but this was like $1 for two sushi pieces. But the quality was really good. Actually on that evening, it's maybe a bit rare, but there was like a happy hour, and they were even having the yellowtail sushi for 10 cents, 10 yen, and that was quite surprising to see sushi that cheap.
About seasonal food, do you think Japanese food have more seasonal taste?
Yeah, so I would say that is something I discovered in the difference between coming to Japan as a tourist and staying in Japan a bit longer in a trip. So if you come just as a tourist, you go to restaurants and things, and typically it's the same type of food. But if you go to a homestay or you're in Japan for a little bit longer, you actually notice that quite a lot of the food is seasonal. Just as an example, recently we have come out of takenoko season. That was kind of interesting because it would be like takenoko in everything. Every meal, lunch, dinner, everything. And it would be surprising. We even made takenoko cookies, and
that was actually good.
They were good. They were very nice. So it's just interesting. Also, when you notice it when you go shopping in supermarkets and things like that, that some things you can't get at different times of the year, and that's quite surprising because in America and England and Australia, you can typically find everything all year round, apart from maybe mangoes. But I found that in Japan, things are definitely more seasonal.
Did you try any international food in Japan?
In that trip, the first trip, 2011, the first dinner I had in Japan was at a place called The Hub in Shinjuku. This is an English pub restaurant, and I think there's a few of them across Japan, but this one was in Shinjuku. I went there, and it looked kind of authentically English pub style. And they had fish and chips, so I thought I'd try the Japanese fish and chips.
Yeah, how big was it?
The fries were kind of normal fries that you would kind of get anywhere in American kind of style, but the fish was a bit different because it was kind of longer and like finger fish type thing, kind of like this size. It was battered, and there's 3 pieces, and it came in a basket, and that basket had a paper in the basket, and on that paper was printed an old English newspaper.
That's cute.
And it was kind of really interesting. This story was about Glenn Hoddle, the English football soccer manager from quite some time ago now. It was really interesting to read that story because as a child I remembered that story, so it was kind of really nostalgic.
Are there many foreign customers or like Japanese customers?
I would say that a lot of foreigners would frequent there because it has some European beers and things that you might not be able to find in other places. But when I went there was actually the vast majority were Japanese local businessmen or something. Yeah, with the fish and chips it was kind of interesting because they gave me chopsticks to eat. So that was the first time for me eating fish and chips with chopsticks. If you're just going to the seaside and you just get a small fish and chip shop in England, then it's typically with your hand or one of these little wooden forks that you can get the meat from.
So far, you have lived in Australia, America, and England. Can you tell me the difference of Japanese food here and in other countries?
Oh, okay. I kind of described here. Here is, obviously it's very authentically Japanese. Let's go to England first. In England, I would say we don't have many Japanese restaurants in England. However, there is a big Japanese chain restaurant called Wagamama. Wagamama tries to be Japanese, and it has some Japanese food items like gyoza and ramen.
Does Wagamama have sushi train?
Not sushi train, but I think you can get sushi there. There are places in the big cities like London and Manchester and some of these other big cities around England that you can get Japanese food. And actually you can get quite authentic Japanese food in some of these big cities run by Japanese people. In London there was one called Nagomi near Oxford Circus, but unfortunately it's closed or relocated. I went there last time and I couldn't find it. That was a really good ramen restaurant. Probably one of my favorite in the world.
How about America?
Yeah, so America actually has a lot of Japanese, particularly the west coast of America. So California is basically where I spent most of my time in America. You get a lot of sushi restaurants, sushi places, ramen restaurants, also like the kind of udon. And you can also get a little bit more authentically Japanese. What I mean by that is you can get like shime saba and shioyaki, saba and fish and things like that. And it's a little bit more authentic than what you maybe get in England. But I guess that's normal because it's kind of closer to Japan, maybe, and many Japanese people come to California.
Is taste different?
The taste is pretty good actually. So there are, of course, there's some bad restaurants, but you just look at the reviews these days, and it's easy to find the good ones. But there are actually some exceptionally good restaurants in California. Very good sushi restaurants. Actually, one of my favorite sushi restaurants is called Bistro DK, and this is just north of Los Angeles. The gentleman is a Korean man. He created a kind of Korean-Japanese fusion sushi, and it's really good. And the sauces are kind of a little bit more Korean, but the fish is authentically Japanese, and it's just a very good hybrid combination. And so every time I'm in that area, I try to go by and eat some food there.
In other countries, are Japanese restaurants owned by Japanese people or others?
Yeah, I would say actually the vast majority of Japanese restaurants in California are actually Korean owners. But they do a very good job. The food is very good, and it's just a little bit more difficult to find Japanese-owned Japanese food. However, in Australia, you typically find more Japanese-owned Japanese restaurants. Sydney was where I spent most of my time in Australia. The CBD, the central part of Sydney City, is very East Asian. So there's a lot of Chinese restaurants, a lot of Japanese restaurants, a lot of Korean restaurants, Thai restaurants, things like that.
Did you find any particular Japanese restaurant?
So there was this one Japanese food, let's say, company. And they had like 3 or 4 different types of Japanese food, all in the same area, but they broke them out into different restaurants. And so there was like a Japanese curry restaurant, and then there was a Japanese udon restaurant, but they're all kind of close to each other, so you could kind of sample if you wanted to. I used to go to the udon one very regularly.
What did you order?
It was bukkake ontama udon regular cold.
Bukkake.
I remember my order, and they remembered my order, because every Saturday morning, 11 a.m., I would go to that restaurant. It's called Mappen, and it's on the main street, George Street. So I would go there every morning, sometimes with my friends, Japanese friends and Australian friends as well.
So, next question. What kind of occasion or situation you have Japanese food in other countries?
I would say if you're just going out for a restaurant type thing, people enjoy it, so they go just casually to restaurants and things like that. However, we do have most kind of major cities around the world, I would imagine actually, not just in these main countries, but around the world have Japanese festivals, particularly if they have a little Tokyo in their city. Every year or something like that, they would have a festival, and you would be able to go and sample all the different street food because everything's brought together, you can get a little bit more variation to what you would typically know for Japanese food. So you can find like mochi, and you can find fish on the skewers over the charcoal,
Mm-hmm.
or like yakitori things as well, and then all the kind of street food stuff, yakisoba, everything like that. It's really fun to go to those festivals, and those typically draw a big crowd. A lot of people go to those festivals.
So it's like a public event.
It's a public event, definitely. Yeah. They might join it with other festivals and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you go along and then you would see there's other events going on. So there might be like somebody doing a samurai sword display or something like that, or the big calligraphy with the big pen brushes, the dancing kind of J-pop style, and so there's different events that happen like during the day, but there'll be like a festival, typically 1 day or 2 days over a weekend.
Also, recently, Sam tried 2 Japanese food, wagashi and hoto. So I wanted to ask him what he thought of them.
Yeah, so the wagashi was interesting. June 16th is Wagashi Day. This is a yearly annual festival to pray for happiness and health. One of the wagashi is called nerikiri, and this is what we tried the other day. Nerikiri is a type of sweet that is the pasted beans.
Yeah.
You can kind of mold them into different shapes, and in this season the shape is kind of more flower kind of shape, so it was kind of really cute to see the different flower designs.
Because it's June, the flower was hydrated.
Yeah, so that was really cool to see that. And then inside there's different flavors, but all of them were very sweet, like a lot of sugar maybe inside of those.
So it was too sweet for
Yeah.
you?
It wasn't too sweet, it was actually really nice. Like anko is like the red pasted bean, and I don't favor anko. It's not that nice to my tongue, but it was very sweet, and maybe the sugar just was overpowerful for the anko taste.
So wagashi can go well with matcha.
Yeah, so it being a very sweet, it contrasts to a very bitter drink, and matcha, the traditional green tea of Japan, is quite bitter. So it's kind of nice to have those two together to kind of offset the tastes. So that was really fun. And we also had hoto, which was like a udon, handmade udon, but flatter than the normal udon that we find in other restaurants. And it was very dense actually, so a lot of it was quite thick and very filling. And we actually got a big bowl, like it was a very generous portion. There's different flavors that you can get. Some of them were kind of hybrids, so it was like a kimchi flavor, Korean style, through to the traditional Japanese vegetables and things. I think you had
Pumpkin hoto.
pumpkin, and I had duck hoto. And yeah, it was really nice. Very, very nice. The broth was kind of simple.
Tastes like miso soup.
Yeah, it's kind of miso, but kind of very vegetable, a little bit creamy. But a very basic taste to highlight kind of, I guess, the really taste of the udon. But you can kind of add your own chip powder or whatever you want to it. And yeah, it was very nice. So that was kind of interesting. And that was in this Yamanaka Lake. That's a very traditional food for this area. So that was kind of interesting to try it in this area.
Do you have anything you'd like to recommend to viewers?
I would say wherever you are in the world, go out and explore and find your local Japanese food. It's kind of interesting. I think you'll be able to find more variety than you believe is there in your local area. So go out, explore, taste, and then comment in the section below and tell us what you were able to find and if you liked it. And if you're in Japan and you're able to try some international food from England or America or Australia or something, I'd be interested to see what your opinion is on that as well. But for now, I guess that's everything. Until next time, stay curious.